Okay, so I'm here with the champ from your fighting championship, who's going to be defending the belt this weekend in a fantastic, fantastic fight. So, thank you very much for your time. First of all, how are you? How has the camp been, and how is fight week for you? Because you're only a couple of days away now. How's the camp been so far?
Um, that's good. Like a few little things, but like no one ever goes into a fight fully conditioned and well, not fully conditioned, but like injury free. But we're good. We'll be ready for the fight and ready to go.
And obviously, like you're training so hard up until fight week, and then fight week you have to take a break, and then obviously you've got to wait and stuff like that. How hard is that mentally as a fighter to try and switch off and go into that mode?
I look forward to it. So it's that little wind down, and so you're still keeping sharp and stuff. I like to just move around with the lads and stuff, and maybe hit pads. But like, I do look forward to it. It's like, it's a little bit relaxed and just focus on the cutting the weight.
It's like the calm before the storm, isn't it? It's like just relax, and then Sunday comes in, and you go in and you do the business.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much just.
Yeah. So obviously, with your weight cut, is there like is it much weight that you have to cut, or do you have a little bit? How do you find the weight cutting process?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I'm not going to lie here and say I think I'm a little bit big for the bantamweight class. Like, so it isn't fun, but we get it done.
Yeah, yeah. No, like that weight cutting for any weight class doesn't sound fun to me. So I don't think it's something other than a fighter would ever experience, and they don't know. I've seen them done firsthand, but I've never done one. But I don't envy you, to say the least. But you're gonna be fighting on your fighting championship, a fantastic show, along with all the other shows that we have. You obviously won the belt on the show. What was that feeling like to win the belt against someone who had defeated you previously?
I mean, look, it was nice. It was a little, I suppose, being a little fan of wrestling when I was younger, and just thought you seen all the wrestlers with their belts, and next minute I have my own. It's just a little thing, like. But I was, it was nice. It was just nice to win it. Like, I mean, a few lads that had beaten me had held it previously, and so I was kind of, it just showed, I suppose, my growth over the years, and my skills, like, that I have the ability to be at the top of the amateur scene, like, and I'm going to prove it again on the weekend, like.
Yeah, no, and you definitely do. And I talked with you off record before here. Like when I looked at your like Grozev, Brady, like Sheridan, like there's more, McDonald, like you just had gone through like a murderer's row. And like that, you can see you reaping the rewards of it now. Obviously with the belt, with your last fight with Dale, do you find was it sweeter to beat someone who'd beaten you previously and you righted the wrongs from the last fight? Was that more sweeter than the title, or was the title sweeter than the victory?
I look, the title was a bit more sweeter. Me and Dale are actually good kind of friends now. Like, so we even after our first fight, and I was a little bit reluctant to take the fight in the first place, but eventually Decky kind of settled on throwing the title in for the grabs. So like we both said yes, and we we nearly talk every week. Like, we're good, we're friends now, like we're buddies. So like that was a little bit weird, like, even after the fight, and Dale didn't obviously look, he was upset after the fight, he didn't want to talk. I'd be the same if I was the other way around, like, so it was a bit weird, but like even to now, like he was only down in Clonmel doing a jits comp, and I was chatting to him half the day, like, we get on quite well. So there was a bit weird, fighting someone you kind of get on with and kind of you would consider a friend, like. So I wouldn't want to do that again. Like, it's just, it's a weird feeling.
I can imagine. I've heard of another set of fighters that happened to, and they became friends after first fight, had fight second time, like that four title. And I could imagine, because obviously when you after the first fight, you both know what you went through, and there's kind of like a bond between each fighter. Let's say you both know what you went through for the fight and become friendly after, and then have to fight again and go, we have to do this all again. But obviously you got the title out of it, which is going to lead you to this weekend. You've got an opponent, a very tricky opponent who was he was inactive for a little while, but he's come back and looked very good. How would you rate your opponent, and not how you see the fight going, but how would you rate Adrian himself?
Look, he's good. He's he's a similar like as in record wise, it's he's fought some top level lads. He's fought Brady previously. He's fought Jack Core, like some really top lads over the years. He's been around a lot longer than me, so he has plenty of experience, I suppose, and he's good at what he does. So I'm not taking anyone lightly. Like we know what he's going to do, and he probably knows what I want to do. So we'll just it's who can implement our game better.
Yeah, and I like that as well because with that last fight that when you won the belt, I felt you had a game plan and it was like you didn't deviate from that game plan. So it was like that fight kind of went it the way you wanted it to go. Is that how you envisioned the last fight going? Yeah.
Yeah, it was very much so. I suppose after the first fight with Dale, I felt like it was close. If you watch the fight back, it was close, but Dale won the fight fair and square. Um, and I just knew what I needed to do. I knew what he was strong at, and I tried to take that away as much as possible. And I did that. Like so, that's how it went.
And with your opponent coming up, do you do research on them yourself, or do you leave that to the coaches, or do you just stay away from it at all?
I'll watch some of their fights. Try and watch some of their newer fights, because trying to, I don't like watching fights that are 2 or 3 years old. What are you going to take away from that? That's a different person. Like 2 years is a long time. So I watched his last couple of fights. He got some submissions. But I'll watch him with my brother, my coach sometimes. But like me and my brother will try and break it down and see what their tendencies are, what they like to do, or whatever. Nothing crazy, like, but we'll try and figure him out a little bit, like,
Yeah, see what he's very good at and see where he may be weak
Yeah.
and see what you need to avoid and what you can potentially exploit then as well. So it's a good show. You're fighting champion. How would you like fighting on the show, fighting for Decky? Because a lot of fighters that I talk to love it because it's ran by fighters for a fighter. How do you find dealing with Decky? Because he's quite pleasant to deal with. How do you find the show in general?
Yeah, I love the show. I mean, I made my debut on the show. I think I've had after this will be the most fights I've had in one show, like between that and Premier. But like I really like Decky. Decky understands fighters, being one himself. So he's very easy to talk to. Anytime you ask him for anything, he'll text you back almost straight away. He's really good. He's never hassling you to sell tickets or something. He'll ask you, and that'll be that if you say yes or no, whatever. So like, I mean, what more do you want? Like, I don't mind traveling up because he's so easy to work with. He's always been so nice and whatever, like offering us stuff or whatever. So he's really easy to work with.
Yeah, and like that, especially when you're coming from where you're coming from at Boys from Cork and down, it's hard to bring the ticket sellers up. And he knows, he said it to me himself as a promoter. That's why he gets a lot of his boys on it because they'll put the bums in seats that way because it's hard like that as an amateur fighter to get a, a lot of people to travel. So it's good that you're not being hassled for tickets because that's the last thing you need coming up to a fight and especially a
Yeah.
title fight. Um, we're not going to be looking past obviously your next opponent, but what are your plans for the rest of the year? If you have any plans, or are you just looking at this next opponent and see what happens from there?
Yeah, look, I suppose after this fight, I'll be fighting on the nationals more than likely, um, at featherweight because that's same day away and maybe one or two more fights at the end of we'll see. Decky has IOR again, IOR in the end of November, and there might be something around December that maybe doesn't. We'll see. We'll see how the year goes. Like,
Yeah, because like that, there seems to be 6 shows. There's actually 6 shows in 1 month in November, which is absolutely bonkers. Three around one day. Then you've
yeah,
got. Yeah, I wish we need to set up a WhatsApp group and spread them out a little bit. But it just means everyone's going to have a good Christmas because they won't be training coming up to Christmas. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to your fight. I always love watching your fight, and I always love seeing your team as well. When you're coming up to a show, what's the buzz like in the gym?
it's good. I mean, the teammates are good. They'll be there for you. So like they'll get you going. I suppose I'm a little bit quieter, a little bit more reserved, and the lads bring the energy for me. So it's always nice to have that too.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I can't wait to see you fight this weekend. Is there anything you want to say before you go? And I want to thank you so much for your time because I realize it is a busy week for you.
No, I appreciate your time too. I mean, it's nice for the exposure or whatever you do for all the fighters and everything else you do. Just taking clips and being at the shows and stuff like it's it's nice to see. So appreciate you too.
No, and I really enjoy it, and that's what I want to do. I want to give people exposure, help them like do interviews and build themselves up, and then I learn as well. And then I just think ye work too hard for it not to be covered, in my opinion. Because ye work like ye train twice a day, maybe once a day, twice a day, have a job, do this, and it's an expense. It's expensive. It's not like you're making money, especially at amateur. So
No.
I think what you're doing needs to be covered and deserves to be covered because like you're doing something positive with your time. But is there anyone you want to shout out before you go? And I appreciate the kind words.
No, just shout out to Kevin Walsh, one of my teammates. He's making his first fight on Irish soil, so he's going to be one of the first couple of fights in IOR. So I can't wait to see him go as well. So shout out Kevin.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much. Best of skill this weekend, and I will be at the show, so I will see you there as well. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.